Hello all, in this PT tip I'm going to discuss how to get back to work. Again, you're best not to go it alone with this. As a minimum, you need the advice of a family doctor. But it's often better to consult a sports MD, PT, or OT, one who's knowledgeable about concussion management. In my experience, the vast majority of individuals really want to or need to return. The biggest factors leading to failure are inadequate preparation before starting the return to work process, too quickly ramping up hours and duties, and/or inadequate early on accommodations. As a clinician, I often spent my time putting on the brakes, getting patients to better prepare, slowing down how fast they returned, and getting modifications to their initial duties. Here are some of the general things to help the return. Having more flexible hours, allowing additional time to complete tasks, having a quiet space available for breaks, enhancing the level of help, decreasing computer work in favor of more work on paper, allowing for more work to be done from home. These are all very good recommendations in themselves, but truly the devil is in the details. When a worker has injured their back or their shoulder, it's very common to prepare them with work conditioning. For concussions, preparation for return is often completely overlooked. All too often the person is simply thrown into the deep end. It's also important to prepare the individual for working in different environments. For example, a busy, noisy, open office area. It's best to use a two-step approach to returning patients to work. First, by detailed work conditioning, and second, by a graduated return to work with accommodations. Here are the broad strokes of my approach. There are two forms of work conditioning: work mimicking and work shadowing. So, first to work mimicking. This involves building tolerance and capacity by doing work-like tasks at home and/or outside spaces, for example, at a local library. The goal of this stage is to build 4 to 5 hours of tolerance every other day. Alternatively, work shadowing. If available, work shadowing is a superior way to prepare. In this approach, the patient shadows the person doing their work, acting as a kind of knowledgeable assistant to them, but still for very limited amounts of time and with no responsibilities. Unfortunately, there are many reasons, logistical and political, that this approach is not always possible. Regardless, I can't emphasize it enough that to have a successful return, a concussed person really needs to have some form of conditioning prior to trying to return. On to graduated return to work. The best strategy is to combine a graduated return to work process with some short and longer term rest breaks. I often started with 3 half days at work, Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. The other days are reserved for exercising and limited chores. The person then slowly builds up to 3 full days. This before they start to bring on work during their reservoir days. The final piece is modification of duties and accommodations. A series of temporary modifications can really aid a successful return to work, such as screen modifications, reduction of overhead flickering lights, meeting modifications, an absolute initial avoidance of shift work and overseas work trips with jet lag. For details on all of these, you'll need to refer to my book. In the next PT tip in this series, I will look at return to sport and play. Keep on healing, October 2nd, 2025.